Hey everybody, this is Frederick Jones, and I am the founder of My Footprint and the publisher of several digital publications, including Afternoon WebX, which is our free daily manga webcomic portal, Well Read, which is our ebook portal, and then of course Saturday AM, which many of you may be familiar with. Of course, this might be why many of you are here. It is our digital magazine, comes out every 2 weeks and features some of the hottest names in global original manga production, from creators everywhere from Nigeria to Vietnam, and of course throughout America and Hungary, and growing all the time. So many of you are here, of course, as a result of the Saturday AM Pilot Manga Initiative. We call these programs that we do every month test flights, and this is the very first one we'll be doing, which is of course kicking off here in the month of July. So definitely want to welcome you all here, and go ahead and get started. Just give me a moment. I'm going to pull up the questions that may have been entered in to the test flight file that was established on the Facebook group. Let me just do a couple of station identification type things for those of you who are joining us or are not familiar with everything that we do. Of course, as I indicated before, Saturday AM is a digital publication, and we are not even a year old, but we've grown tremendously. We have some really fantastic support amongst many fans and throughout the world, people who are big manga fans and original manga fans. And so you can, of course, support our creators and support us via our digital magazine, which, of course, comes out every 2 weeks and is only $5 for a 20-issue subscription for the entire year. Outside of that, you may also participate by buying prints. We do T-shirts and a variety of other things. So we've got a very strong brand that we're producing and growing every day, and we've been just amazed at the level of fan support that we've gotten. Our Facebook fan group is now at 700, almost 700 followers. Our YouTube channel with less than 20 videos is almost at 500 followers. And our magazine is growing through hundreds of subscriptions just literally every single day. So thank you so much for supporting us. The Pilot Manga program is our chance of working with up-and-coming creators to help them establish their goals of becoming future webcomic and/or manga creators, whether that's through Saturday AM or through their own vehicles. So again, we are getting started here, and this is going to be an open chat for anyone who wants to ask questions about the Pilot Manga program, the rules that we've recently established for the program. And so feel free to make yourselves, to let me know exactly what sort of questions you may have. So I see here we got a couple of questions already. Justin BW asked this question a little bit earlier, and I want to certainly go ahead and answer that again for anyone who's asking. Is that there are no age limits for becoming a part of Saturday AM or becoming a part of the Pilot Manga contest. These are completely open to people, although of course to become an official member of Saturday AM or Afternoon WebX in terms of the way that we structure our business, we do try to work with individuals who are 18 or over, so that part is definite. But aside from that, there's no particular age limits on that level. Let's see. So now we've got our first question via the Q&A app from Amit, who asks, says, "Hey, Frederick, as a general question, what are the benefits of winning? I'm not sure the incentives to winning beyond recognition of the staff were mentioned." That's a great question, Amit. So let's actually talk about that, obviously, and then of course we'll recap the rules, because I think again some people may not actually know exactly what the rules are. Well, first of all, that is a gigantic part of it is recognition. Something that I'm very open about since we started Saturday AM and Afternoon WebX is the reality that look, there are many places that webcomic creators can go to showcase their works, and frankly, there are many places that you can go to showcase your works that are actually larger in traffic than what we offer. So the question is, why would you work with us? And I think the question, as far as we're concerned, is that Our business model is set up to make you successful. So what does that mean? Well, that means first and foremost is that on some of the other websites that you go to, they don't pay you anything. You go onto those websites, you put your content up there for free. Their business model is set up to basically work off of the capability of having lots of page views. And for those of you who don't know how website advertising works, it's really simple. They go to Pepsi, they go to Microsoft Xbox or Hulu, and they say, hey, advertise on our website. We do so many unique page views per day. And the part that's brilliant about that is that they do that, and they do it because they're literally having free content generated from them every second of every day from people around the world. It's an excellent business model if you can get it. Facebook and many other websites function very similarly, right? You share your materials to millions of people, and millions of people look at it, and you're on their platform, you're on their website, and so they can charge advertising and make a lot of money. Finding the next big thing, the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the next Dragon Ball Z, the next Yu-Gi-Oh, and helping you achieve your goal of turning that into that type of property in terms of getting it seen by the right people, in terms of giving you the sort of guidance that will help you avoid having something that basically becomes a fanboy or fangirl comic book. So we're bringing along, in my case, over a decade of actual professional experience in launching projects here in the United States and globally, brands that many of you are familiar with. That's my background experience. We're taking that, merging that with the power of the internet, creating a real brand and real opportunity for you. And every creator owns their own product, by the way, to take that to the next level. So recognition is a key part of it. There are other pieces as well, but that is the key part of it. And again, whether or not that matters to you is another story. But we certainly think that's a really powerful idea. Let's see. Next up here is a question from Justin Ramos. Justin is asking, does our manga have to contain action, or will you allow diversity of genre in the magazine? For example, Shonen Jump has Nisekoi. Justin, excellent question. Again, let me state very clearly that our objective is absolutely to have a diverse product lineup of series and of creators. I mean, right off the bat, as many of you guys know, you go onto our website and you scroll through that website, the home page, and the first thing, one of the major things you'll see is a list of creators both on the home page and then on the home page of Afternoon WebX, where you see creators who do not look like the normal creators that are even at San Diego Comic-Con this week. Image Expo just had a big stage presence for Image Comics, and they paraded a bunch of creators up on stage. They got a lot of flack for it a couple of months ago, but one thing I'm extremely proud of is that when you look at our lineup of creators, we have Latinas, we have African American women, we have people from Vietnam, we have individuals from Eastern Europe. So we have such a powerful lineup of creators, and of course, that stands for also having a diverse line of content. So Nisekoi is a romantic kind of shoujo style series, and if you look at a Saigami, that's an action-oriented property, kind of like Inuyasha, but certainly has its level of romance within it. So the bottom line is that the way I would term action is that it has to have a sense of momentum. So if you want, so I saw a great webcomic months ago called Short Order Mobile Action. The creator's name was John. I can't remember exactly his whole name, but it was a really fantastic idea about a manga about a food truck. And about a guy who basically managed a food truck. And so if you look at manga, using your example, Justin, of Nisekoi, look at Shonen Jump. They have Food Wars. They have Shokagukan no Soma, I believe is the correct name, which of course is Food Wars. They have another project as well. So they have so many different manga titles there. They still have action. They still have a sense of momentum. There's still a really strong artistic style, and we are no different. So, if you said, hey, I've got a great idea that's kind of like, it's about two people sitting, it's about a girl who works in a coffee shop and all the travails that she has, I'm all for that. It's got to have, you've got to be really good at being able to deliver a story, have good artwork, hopefully know something about coffee, and be able to actually tell something entertaining every time an issue comes out. But no, I mean, we have no concern about whether or not you're telling a manga that features ninjas or a manga that features baristas. I could care less as long as it's good. So excellent question, Justin. Let's see, we've got some more questions here. Casman Gamble has two questions. let's get her. The first question here is, hi, I'm wondering if we are still allowed to post our manga on other websites if we get promoted. The answer to that question is for the properties that we do, part of what makes us unique is that we do, as I indicated before, we're trying to grow a brand. And so as we try to grow the brand, part of the expectation of that, because we're going to support this with marketing and advertising and public relations and a variety, and of course, guidance and editorial. So with the things that we're going to bring to the table, again, if someone else is doing that for you, then you really have no reason to put it with us. But if you put it with us, you're going to still get to own your property, but our expectation is that you're going to honor that level of commitment that we're giving to you by making the project exclusive to us. Exclusivity can work a couple of different ways, but yes, the expectation is that you will post that with us and us only. Let's see, Casman has another question here. Let's see, is it possible for more than one person to get promoted to WebX? Of course, of course. I'm not sure what you mean by that question, in the sense of, are you asking if you have a partner that works on the same manga comic with you, could you both, submit a comic into our test flight programs every month and both be selected? If you're working on the same comic, the answer is yes. If you two are connected and you guys are committed to working together, the answer is yes. But aside from that, though, the answer would be no, that we would be able to promote two people in the same month. Our objective is to find people who have real potential, ideas that have real potential, and work with those. And we feel like right now our bandwidth is once a month. Again, other websites do not get involved in this level of detail. They're not concerned about this level of excellence, in my opinion. So, they don't care if you draw stick figures. They don't care if your concept is half-baked. They'll take it and they'll put it up. With us, we're looking at something that we believe has real potential in a variety of areas. Can it be an anime? Can it be an action figure line? Can it be a video game? These are all things that I did professionally in my past, and so of course that's what I'm looking for today. So yes, so no, it won't be two people working on two different mangas, submitting their projects in the same month for a test flight program, and both of them getting promoted to WebX. That would not be the case. No. So, Casman, you got another question. You're asking some excellent questions. Before I answer your question, what I first would like to do is make sure, because we've got a lot of viewers in here, I'd like to go ahead and make sure that we talk first about the rules for WebX, and of course I know there have been many questions about the rules, so let me go ahead and just, again, state the rules verbally so that if there's any questions, people can speak on. Let's see here. We'll start first with the rules that we have here. Just give me one moment. And let's see. Gotta make sure we pull the rules up exactly here. All right. Okay, so as we indicated before on the rules, so again, there was a lot of kind of questions about some of the things that I had listed. I think some of you guys were questioning some of the components or what made up some of the specifics. So let's make sure we run these real quickly. So first and foremost, you don't have to submit a full chapter. I know many of you have been working on stuff for quite a while. You like the idea, you're wanting to submit a full chapter. You do not have to do that. So that is just first and foremost something that does not have to happen. Our objective is instead to focus on getting to see whether or not you can actually tell a story. So what we've asked for are 2 examples of sequential artwork. So to be clear, what sequential artwork is this is the ability for you to start on the very top of the page and go to the bottom of the page and tell a series of events that actually dictate a scene, if you would. Think about a scene in a movie or a scene in a TV show. So this is a key aspect of those things happening. We've asked for one example that would consist of storytelling that is just kind of more emotional. So in other words, taking the coffee or a coffee shop example, you could imagine a scene where 2 characters are talking in a coffee shop, and there's something happens. Maybe they get upset with one another. Maybe one person says something that makes the other person cry, or maybe she, says a comment, or maybe he says a comment that, angers the other person. Again, no violence or anything like that, but can you tell a scene where two characters are literally just talking? Can you set it in an environment that we know exactly what that environment is, whether it's a park or a mall or an office building? We want to see that you've got the ability to actually tell a story, because as I've said many times before in pilot manga, as I talked about in the writer's logic, this is what separates a majority of webcomics from existence. Most webcomics, unfortunately, are predicated on the notion of basically people who are just ultra fans of Dragon Ball and Naruto, and that's your dream, is to create Dragon Ball and Naruto. And that's great, and the internet provides you a chance to do that. That's not what we're about, though. And so if that is your objective, again, then you're not going to be interested in actually telling a scene that has nothing to do with ninjas and heads being popped off, or a girl with giant breasts and someone grabbing her breasts, and just things that represent kind of the more silly fanboy aspects of manga. That's not our objective, and I'm very upfront about this. If that's your objective, again, there are plenty of other websites you can go to, but we want to know that you actually care about the components, the architecture of actually establishing a story. And so part of that then, therefore, is being able to tell a sequential story from start to finish, or a page from start to finish that has no action in it. It just features two characters in a real environment talking. We also ask for a second example where there is fighting, and that also tells a great tale, because if you've got two characters fighting and that's something that you really, really want to do, but you can't actually do it, the characters, it looks like a mess, it's like it's hard to tell what's happening, then that's going to be one of the problems that we have there. So we want to make sure that we fix that, and that's going to be one of the key things that we have to try to do, is figure out how to do that piece in the sequential artwork. The other things that we ask for is we want to have 3 character designs, full color character designs. And so what does that full color character design mean? Some people got a little confused about this. It doesn't matter if you have 30 characters or 2 characters. We want to see 3 individual character designs. It can be a hero, a supporting character. Maybe the supporting character is only in one chapter of your proposed manga. That's fine. We just want to see 3 examples of character design. The 2 examples of character designs can literally just be, the front image of somebody standing or holding a sword or a gun or whatever the character does. It can be an action pose. It can be whatever you want. But one of those examples of the 3 needs to be a turnaround, a full turnaround. I've posted many examples of this in the Pilot Manga group, but again, this is what shows us that you actually are an artist, is your ability to understand dimension and size and shape and and character design from the back of the head all the way to the side to the front. It's a skill that if you want to be a serious creator, a real creator to get paid for your work, you have to be able to do stuff like this. Drawing well to your friends does not equate to drawing professionally. So that's another aspect of that. We want a cover image. So many of you guys, that's one thing you guys do a lot, right? You guys draw in class, or you draw, you do illustrations that you post on DeviantArt. So this is pretty straightforward. We just want a cover image. Show us, try to sell us on an initial image of your concept. Then we want 2 written proposals. One written proposal focuses on the things I talked about in the Writer's Logic series of articles that I did in the Pilot Manga group. So, for example, I want to pitch. My property, which is called, Milk Mustache Tie, is ghetto version of Popeye meets DBZ, or Dragon Ball. Literally that. And again, some of you guys got to be confused about that. Do not overthink it. Do not overthink it. This is how things are done in Hollywood, which is crazy, but this is literally how it's done. If you were a screenwriter or someone, you got a chance to talk to a film producer or a film director, it literally comes down to you getting their attention with, with these 4 to 6 words. You are not going to get 30 minutes with them to try to tell them all about, as we talked about in the Writer's Logic, telling them about your complicated backstory, which may or may not even be any good. This is about getting them. This is kind of example with artwork. When you've got artwork, it's like you can get someone's attention if you got a badass piece of cover art, right? But then if you can't do a turnaround, if you can't actually tell a sequential story, then you are going to lose that interest very quickly. it's the reverse for pitching someone an idea. You have to sell them on the idea components first, and then hopefully have the material to back it up. But trying to give them a wealth of stuff because you've lived with it so long in your head, and thinking that is actually going to be enough to get people excited about your idea is totally reverse. It's totally reverse. So one written proposal has your pitch. It then has detailed character descriptions in terms of written out character descriptions. Who is your character? What is your character's background? Why do we care about your character? These are sort of questions that you need to be able to answer about your character. And please refrain from the idea of like he's like Goku or he's like Naruto but more badass. Like, you really need to step it up a notch and be more professional. Like, really think about your character and really sell people on. You got to have a real character. You can't have a character that is like another character. You got to have a real character. So you'll have that component there, and then of course you'll talk about the story. Give me a synopsis of the story. Like give me a paragraph about what your story is about. It's about two ninjas who are on their way to kill the person who killed their family, but along the way they discover that they've been betrayed. Their parents are still alive. It's like, give me some element like that. And then, of course, break down the arcs. How many arcs would you do in 6 months? I just want to know, of a 6-month period, what would be the key events that happen in a 6-month period? What are the arcs that happen, and explain them? In 6 months within Naruto, the first year of Naruto had to become a Genin. Remember, he went through the whole Bell test with Kakashi and got on the team with Sasuke and Sakura. Remember, he had to even go through like a test phase. And then once they did that, then they took a couple of cheap ninja missions, and then they got that C rank mission or whatever it was. They took them to face Zabuza, and that was the first 6 months of Naruto. It was not the Chunin exam, so therefore, having 95 characters is not going to help you. It is not going to help you because it's going to come across as being that you're trying to get to a place that you like as a fan and not understand as a storyteller. You got to start where you actually can sell people on the character, make them care about the character, establish the world. You got to do that before you get to all the amazing stuff that you have in your mind, because that's just not telling a story. That's trying to jump ahead, and it becomes very obvious when you do that. And then I just want kind of like a bit of a business page from you. Like, tell me who you think your audience is. The gender, the age, what sort of genre goals do you have? The genre, and then tell me what sort of goals you have. Do you think that do you want to appeal to people who love Apple Black? Do you want to appeal to people who are big fans of Okamirai on Ink Blazers? Like, what's kind of the goals that you've established for yourself that are real goals? Telling me you're going to create the next Naruto is not a real goal, right? That's not a real goal. Telling me that you think that you can get some traffic, or that you can be someone who gets some popularity like White Manga, even that is kind of unrealistic, but it's realistic in the sense that that's something you can attain because, White is like you. He came from the same place you guys came from. So that is the sort of stuff we're looking for. So we're really looking for all of that sort of material. So I've taken a lot of time on that. Let's get now back to all of your questions. I know you've got lots of questions here. Okay, so CK Lionheart says, will we get individual feedback on our work since the contest is over? Once the contest is over, I believe. So that we know what to improve on and how to make our work look more professional. So CK Lionheart, we will try to do individual feedback. We will certainly do general feedback. We will explain why the individual that won, we will display their information. And let's be clear about something too. When you win, that does not mean that what you've won all of a sudden means that you go into Saturday AM. That's not going to happen. You're going to go into afternoon WebEx. And even then, it won't be immediate. We'll give you a bit of time. We will work with you to refine what you've created so it can actually be an effective pilot. This is like a pilot that exists in Shonen Jump in Japan. Most creators get a 30, 40, 50-page pilot, the one shot they call it, that they debut, and then Shueisha finds out, whether or not there was popularity with it, what people thought about it, and even then, that actual one shot may not be exactly the finished product if they make it into Shonen Jump. It may not be that, and it's no different for you guys. If we find the property, that property will get individual feedback. They will be given time to create a one-shot. then we will advertise and market and make a big deal about the one shot that will serialize on Afternoon WebX, and then twice a year, the people who win the once a month deals, they will be pitted against one another. So every 6 months, those creators who won, let's say July, August, February, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 6 months. At the end of December, there will be a contest at the end of December going into January that will pit those 6 against each other, and one of them then will get a slot to a run out basically for a period of time to run out within Afternoon WebX, and then of course if they're really really good, then Saturday AM. So that's how that process will work. So we will try our best to do individual feedback. As I indicated to you guys when we started the pilot manga program, we are new. This is a very ambitious group. I think we already are unlike any other manga group on Facebook, and as a result of that, it's not going to be immediate. Just like Saturday AM was not immediate, it's going to take some time for us to get to the place that we want to be. But we will eventually be offering as much feedback as possible. Let's see here. We have another question from Makasu Yin, who asks, will we have to give you layout what the environment looks like too? So no, the answer to that is no. You don't have to give us environment what the layout looks like. I would like for you to explain the world in those written documents, explain a little bit about the world to me, but otherwise than that, no. We don't need to see your backgrounds. And the reason is really simple, because you're going to have 3 pieces of artwork to show us background. Remember, you've got 2 sequential pages of content to show me background. This is another reason why I don't want you guys producing a 40, 50-page one-shot and thinking that that makes you better than someone else. Because, you know, you spending 40, 50 pages and you can't draw background is only a waste of your time. It really is. It's just a waste of your time. You're better off spending weeks doing 2 pages that really blow us away and show us that you know how to tell a story than 40 pages of a nonsensical story that's got no backgrounds. So, absolutely, Makasu, yes. You have places to show us environment, the cover image, and the 2 sequential pages. Let's see here. Trey Mack asks, are we allowed to have swearing in dialogue? Not just every other sentence is a curse word, but when emotions are flaring, they'll drop an F-bomb. Is that prohibited? That's not prohibited. The rules for Saturday and Afternoon WebX is really simple. The creators have final say, but I have final say as publisher. And what that means is that I'm trying to run a business. You are not going to show me that you do not have an understanding of how to build an audience by trying to throw in stuff that just you think makes it more mature. Trust me, there are plenty of times we look at manga and something happens in an amateur webcomic experience where you're like, why in the hell did that happen? Why did that person get stabbed in the neck when that was uncalled for? You could have killed that person in a variety of different ways. Or why is this person saying just a really extravagant curse word when all that happened was, the phone, the phone rings, or something like that. I mean, I'm being a bit facetious, but the bottom line is that, that's part of fanboy culture, is that there's no such thing as maturity because you curse, and I curse all the damn time. So trust me, it's not a question of my own prudishness. This is a question of, are you serious about being a writer and therefore telling a story, or are you serious about trying to get things out of your system? Because you can, now you can have someone's head explode because, hey, it's the internet. Marvel's not telling you not to do it. You can do whatever you want to. It shows greater restraint to tell a good story where you don't rely on gimmicks as opposed to not to. So, again, if it's obvious that you've had cursing happen for no reason, then I would say that that's a problem. But if the character curses and it fits the story, then it's fine. Let's see here. Now we have a question from another question from Justin Ramos, adding from his last question, if a manga hasn't got a fight scene, what should I do? Justin, excellent question. So what I would say to you then is simply tell a good story. Just tell a good story. For the sequential artwork, again, then put a sequential page in there that's got conflict. I mean, the bottom line here is sell me on, again, let's take Food Wars, for example, Shokugeki no Soma. When you look at Food Wars, they have 2 things that happen, right? They have moments where they're cooking, and they display the dish, and the dish is like, it's illustrated, but yet you want to eat it because it's that damn good looking. And then they have the other thing, which I think is kind of silly, where the female characters have these orgasms, or male characters have these orgasms, and it gets into ecchi and really kind of risque sort of drawings and stuff like that. So, hey, stuff like that happens, but that's the 2 sort of things that happen in that book. If that's what you're pitching me, and there's no action scenes, but that's the sort of major things that happen every chapter, then those are the sort of things I need to see. I need to get a glimpse in the two sequential pages of what is it that's going to make me as a fan care about this story. That doesn't mean that you throw action in for the sake of action, because again, it's not about that. But I don't care if you're telling a story about a woman who's got cancer and it's the last few days of her life. You know, if that were a movie, then you can best believe there's going to be a moment that's like an Oscar moment where she's crying and she's saying, "Why God me?" or something like that. And damn it, that's what you better have. You better have something that makes your story interesting in those two sequential pages. It doesn't even have to have action, but you better show something that's going to grab the reader, because that is what this is about. Is how do you engage the reader? How do you write for consumption, not for your own personal ego to say, hey, I put my stuff on, you know, Ink Blazers and I got a lot of people who click the like button. This is reality. The people who will read your story with Saturday AM, they're doing it because they really want to see if you're badass or not. Trust me, if you're not, they will talk much crap. So this is about really taking the bull by the horns and saying, you know what, I'm gonna do this like I would do it if Marvel or DC or Viz. I'm going to take this opportunity and I'm going to knock it out of the park, and that's what this is about. Let's see here. We have Ahmed again asks. He says, for the black and white pages we need to submit, are we prohibited from using tones, or must we stick to black and white style of only line art? Excellent question, Ahmed. Of course you may use tones. You're not prohibited from doing anything for the black and white art. Do whatever you need to do to make it look fantastic. That is the message there. Let's see here. We have a question from Seymond Calderon, who says, so if we win, we're only featured for a month. Do we have to win constantly in order to be featured? So, Seymond, no, that's not the case. And again, I also didn't think I'm not sure if we said a month. If you win, then we're going to give you basically a one-shot story. And so we're going to give you a page count. We're going to say you need to create your story as a one-shot. So basically like a pilot episode of a TV show. Or a pilot manga or one-shot that you see in Shueisha. And if you guys aren't familiar with this concept, Google, I'm not a fan of scanlations. I say this frequently because I want you buying our stuff. But if you've not seen it for educational purposes, look up the original version of Naruto that ran as a one-shot, I think in 1995 or so. Look that up. If some of you are lucky enough to own it, then check it out. But it's that'll get. I think you can even download it on shonenjump.viz.com or something like that. Check their English version of Shonen Jump. I believe they have a free sample pack that has the original Naruto in it. So check that out. But the bottom line is that that's a great place to look and see what a pilot manga or one shot looks like. You know, it tells a story. It tells a story from beginning to end. It of course alludes to more story to come. It doesn't answer every question, but it excites you. It introduces the concept and the idea. So that's what we're going to be looking for this. And that might, you know, it's going to serialize on Afternoon WebX. So that means it might run a month. It might run 5 weeks. You know, who knows? But no, you're not going to get a second time to tell your story. So you may enter again with a different idea. But again, let me be clear about that too. We are judging you on the quality of the idea and the quality of your work. So just because you won a previous month and now you've got a brand new idea that's even more badass, if the execution of it doesn't work for us, just because you might be a really good artist does not mean you'll win. So, you know, do keep that in mind. Let's see here. Casman Gamble asked, how would you transfer your manga onto WebX, or do you just send it through mail? Casman, we have a variety of ways we handle that, but the key thing I'll say is that, you know, we do not do email. Many of you try to post stuff in Facebook. Again, we've given you guys rules about that. You can only upload things that you guys are working on. You cannot upload anything that's a full comic, by the way, but you can upload maybe a page or two examples of your comic. And you can only do that on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. And we do that so that we don't become like a spam folder for everyone's work. But that being said, though, yes, you know, we work through cloud-based systems, so we would either give you access to some cloud-based transfer system, whether it's Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever. Let's see here. Is there any one thing that would instantly turn you off? This is from C.K. Lionheart, who asked, is there any one thing that would instantly turn you off from any of our pilots? In essence, gore or ecchi, romance, etc. Well, no. I mean, none of those things turn me off. What turns me off is a story that comes across as not being a fully understood story. So if you put in, all these things are acceptable. Gore, obviously is a bit much. I mean, like in other words, you can decapitate somebody, you can cut their arm off, but if you've got to do it and like spend 5 panels showing the person's head and blood spurting up, and I see the veins and the vessels, and it's literally just five panels on a page of that, then that's crazy. That's crazy. Even the most seinen manga in Japan don't do stuff that crazy. It's like you show your moment of shocking action and then you get on with it. You're trying to tell a story. So are you telling a story? And whether or not you have sex, whether or not you have a bit of nudity, whether or not you have a panty or male nudity or what have you, as long as it is in the context of telling a decent story and the story itself is actually decent, of course that's not going to bother us. No. Let's see here. Trey Mack said what did he miss? He just got in. So Kinshaw Mashad asked about the pilot. He said it's not about the pilot manga, it's about Ray-san. So Kinshaw, I mean, I don't really know what else to say to you guys. Ray-san's he's no longer with us. I believe he's going to pop up again soon in another place. You'll be able to check that out. But we certainly wish those guys well. But we've got TTX coming aboard, and we've got a lot of manga coming aboard, and so we're focused on the stuff that we're doing. We don't like to, pontificate about manga that were with us or not. But all of our manga are exclusive, and so when you see the manga with Saturday AM, they're part of Saturday AM, and so that's pretty much all I can say. But hopefully, when something's announced with them, which I think it will be, you'll be able to check it out. And again, you may see those guys with us down the road as well. CK Lionheart asked another question. He says, will there be runners-up for this competition, or is it only just one winner per month? As of right now, CK Lionheart, it's only one winner per month. We've actually thought about doing runners-up and things like that. Again, being a small company, we're just not set up to handle that right now. But we have certainly thought about it, and it's something that probably we will get to at some point. So let's see there. So that is a lot of questions. Obviously, there's more questions that I'd be happy to answer. We've made some pretty good time. We can go on a little bit longer if there's some more questions that we can get to for you. Are there any other questions here? I don't see any in the chat, and I don't see any in the Q&A. So give me a moment here. Okay. All right, so Trey Max got another question. Let's see here. What do you have to say about keeping your confidence and staying on the path of being a mangaka? I've got a lot of people who doubt me and think I talk a big game. My answer to that is what I think I tell everybody. I think I've said this a couple of times before. I certainly tell us all of our creators is that people are going to doubt you. That's the nature of that's life. People are going to doubt you. People doubt LeBron. He's one of the greatest players that ever played basketball. Certainly one of the greatest players in the NBA today. People are going to doubt you. That's just the bottom line. The question is not so much about whether or not you talk a big game. The question is, do you actually do the things that deserve to have people believe in you or be envious of you? My thing is that I have no problem with people who are cocky. My thing is that live up to your cockiness. Live up to your cockiness. Give me a reason to understand why you are cocky. And as I indicated before in the writer's logic, or at least in the pilot manga program, writer's right. So if you are a writer and you're like, oh man, I got to find an artist and so forth, then you're not a writer. Writer's right. The internet is so large today. There are so many examples and opportunities for people to write. You can write for websites. You can write for Saturday AM, frankly. You know, we're looking for people to write on our blog. We're looking for webcomic reviews. We're looking for comic book reviews. We're looking for anime reviews. We're looking for movie reviews. We're looking for essays. Again, as I said before, there are many of us who are of color and who are geeks and who are fans of anime and manga and so forth. There are lots of stories that you will not see on IGN because most of them are not minorities. So lots of examples for people to write. The thing is, do you show any initiative to do it? No one, very few people get to become an actor, a singer, you know, any sort of creative endeavor you can think of. Few people get to become those things because they were walking down the street and someone looked at them and goes, "Oh man, I think you could be an actor. I think you could be a singer." Creative work requires you to get off your butt and do it. And so that's why I started my Flipper. That's why we hit this Saturday AM, because the reality is that we felt like, you know, that I knew there was talent out there. And I felt that a lot of the talent that's out there that is dying to be seen, that is doing everything in their power to be seen, we're still getting ignored for various reasons. And I refuse to let that happen. And so that's why the creators that we have at Saturday AM are not just some of the best talents in terms of their ability, but they're some of the best talents because they actually do what they set out to do. They're hungry for success, and they give it everything they've got, whether it's White Manga or Wally Wynn or Beverly Toole or Raymond Brown. These guys are fighters, and that's what makes them Saturday AM. And the Afternoon X guys are fighters, too. David Yoon is one of the funniest, strongest guys I know. So if you're not in this game to fight, then your confidence is going to get shattered because people are going to doubt you, and there's nothing that's going to change about that. Let's see. Next up is Kinshawn Mashad again, who's asking, is there a certain age? No, there's no age to participate in the test flight contest because, again, you know, this is an opportunity for you to be given a lot of exposure and possibly work together and things like that. But I will say that yes, when it comes to the overall Saturday AM and in particular, not so much Afternoon WebEx, although I still am concerned about age a bit with that. We do look for creators to be over 18, so yes, but not for test flight. Casman Gamble asked, do we need to have backgrounds in the first 2 or 4 pages? Well, yeah, I mean, you need to have backgrounds, period. I mean, that's the answer. You need to have backgrounds, period. If you're thinking of creating a page where there's no backgrounds, then I'm expecting either your story exists in space or limbo. You have to have backgrounds. Again, that's what it means to be a professional artist, is that you've got to actually do the work. There is no shortcuts. You got to do the work. There is no such thing as not having backgrounds. So, yeah, you got to have backgrounds. Trey Mack asks, when will we have the connecting writer-artist info ready? That is coming. I don't have an exact answer for you, Trey. Basically, I know Trey is a writer. He's looking to be connected with artists. That's something that we have every intention of being able to do in our group to help make us, again, a very unique group. But, again, to get to that place, you know, it's going to take some time, and, you know, we're going to get there. That's all I can tell you, buddy. We are going to get there. So let me do a quick little break here and just make sure that everyone's on board with the stuff that we are talking about. Again, this is Frederick Jones. I am the publisher of Saturday AM. And let's see here. We are a digital magazine. Comes out every 2 weeks. And the magazine, of course, features some of the best creators from around the world. Everyone from White Manga of Apple Black fame, who's from Nigeria, to Wally Wynn, who's from Vietnam, to Andrea Voros, who does Saigami in Hungary, and all in between, of course, U.S. and so on and so forth. We also publish Afternoon WebEx, which is a daily manga program, and over the next couple of months. Our objective is to create the next big properties. We're not interested in doing the minimum. We want to do the maximum. We want to have the next big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the next big Naruto, the next big Yu-Gi-Oh, the next big Pokemon, the next big Iron Man. And we know we can do it because, frankly, that stuff already exists. There is some kid out of Central Africa, some kid out of Central Latin America, some young person out of Eastern or Western Europe, some young person out of Southeast Asia, some young person out of the Far East who has an idea, who works on that idea, but they have not been able to break through to Marvel or DC. Shueisha doesn't know who they are, but they're out there, and you are those people. And so I wanted to create a company, create a movement that was going to honor the little guy, and that's what we're doing. And so for us to continue on the mission that we're doing, we're not even a year old yet. We want you to please support us. We have the best deal in comics. Our webcomics that we have are free. They update every week in a very timely and easy to find manner. So you don't have to navigate 30,000 different pages of comic strips like some of the other websites out there. For our webcomics, we keep it simple. They're unique, they're diverse, and you can find them. They get updated every single week at the same time. And they're free. Well Read, our ebook line, has a novel on it, a steampunk adventure called Skypunk. 475 pages, interactive, DRM free for 99 cents. Plus you get a digital print from the one and only Mikhail Dingle of Metallica Lux Nova fame. And then Saturday AM, our property that features superstar creators like White Manga, is available $5 for 1 year subscription. That is 20 issues for just $5. We are already at issue number 13, which comes out this Saturday, meaning that if you subscribe today, not only do you get the 12th issue, but you get the 13th issue immediately on Saturday. And then you get 18 additional issues after that, every 2 weeks. We are incredibly proud of what we've accomplished to date, and you guys have been huge supporters of that. Likewise, please do support us. We have other products, and when you support these other products in particular, you are work to make sure that benefits them. So these are products, for example, like T-shirts and prints. Amit purchased our Apple Black print the other day that was a convention exclusive, and he purchased it, and it was available for him. He mounted it on his wall, took pictures. You will find some really great product from us, and we got more big stuff coming. They're low priced, and again, when you support that, you're supporting our creators. And the last thing I'll say is that we have a big thing coming. I'm going to reveal more information on it in the spirit of San Diego Comic-Con, but it's our first print book. It's going to feature all of our characters, and it's called Saturday Wars. We couldn't be more proud of it. It's going to be something that we think is going to make people stand up and take notice, and we want your support behind that as well. You'll get more information about that this weekend, including an original image done by the one and only White Manga. We'll be showing that this weekend. Please join us for the Saturday Q&A, our regular Saturday scheduled talk with one of our professional creators. This time it's with Andrea Voros, creator of Saigami. She's also doing the cover to number 13. That starts at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you tune into that, you will see the first glimpse of Saturday Wars with a brand new piece of artwork from the one and only White Manga. So that's the whole little station identification thing I want to do there. Let's go back and check the Q&A. We've got a couple more questions, and that's going to be it. So get your questions in now. Because this will be it. We're going to answer these last couple of questions, then we're going to call it a night. I want to thank you all for tuning in and supporting us. A couple more questions here. We have Amit, who asks, are we going to be given more time and additional criteria in future test flight contests, or will the contest be the same each month, or have you not decided yet? Excellent question, Amit, and I have decided, and the answer is no, you won't be given more time. Part of working in a structure that operates professionally is that you do not have all the time in the world. Part of your ability to be a professional creator of content is your ability to actually create content quickly. If it takes you 30 months to do something, we are not the place for you. I don't like to mention our competitors, but how many times have you guys gone on to some of those other websites, seen a property that you thought was brilliant, thought it was absolutely brilliant, and then you realize that it was updated for the most recent update was last year, and you're like, what the hell? Like, they've got all these fans, and it was a great story. It was actually really professional. Why is it not being updated anymore? It's because some people are very slow, some people are not committed, or any number of things can happen. So with the test flight program, you're being tested on everything. That's why we call it test flight. You're being tested on everything. And so we will change the rules every month, meaning that you can try to guess what we're going to ask you for, but you might be mistaken. So, no, it'll be about 2 weeks every time we do it. Next question is from John Pinches, who asks, what would you say separates a WebEx title from one of your core titles? How many core titles do you envision Saturday AM having? Not much separates WebEx titles from our core titles. And I know, I'm not stupid. I know some of you guys look at Saturday AM, you look at a white manga or a Beverly Tool, and you go, oh my God, this stuff looks so beautiful. It looks like, professional, comic art from Marvel or Viz or whoever. And then you look at, WebEx stuff, and you go, oh, this stuff doesn't look like that. I'm 40 years old, guys. I've been around the industry a very long time. Worked on some really big projects in my career, and I can tell you that, I didn't think South Park looked very well. Those guys, do you think those guys are worried about what you think their artwork looks like? Matt Groening, who created The Simpsons, used to be an alternative comic strip author 30 years ago. I used to hate his artwork. He had a comic strip called Life is Hell. I loved the story, but hated the artwork. Do you think he gives a damn what I think about the way his artwork looks? Professional creators create professionally. No one here is going to tell you you can't have a career if you are dedicated to producing good content. And some people will like what you do art-wise, some people won't. Some people will like the style of your story if you're telling like a funny story, and some people won't. This is real world stuff that we do with Saturday AM, Afternoon Wax, and the pilot manga program. So you've got to get prepared for that. I'm not here to judge whether or not your artwork is the best in the world. I'm here to judge whether or not you can actually tell a story, and whether or not that story has any merit. Saturday AM and Afternoon Wax, the only thing that separates them is the fact that we know from experience that people will pay for Saturday AM content. And many of the Afternoon Wax creators do not yet have enough time or data to support whether or not people will pay for their content. It does not mean that people do not support their content. Quite the contrary. Some of the biggest traffic we have on the site goes to WebEx. So the thing to separate the two of them is very thin. It's just about people who've maybe been in the game longer, like White Manga with his YouTube channel, or even Mikhail Dingle, who just got started, but he's been on YouTube for quite a while. And they've got really big fan bases, and we think people pay for their work, and so hence they're a part of Saturday AM. And that's pretty much it. As far as how many titles we expect to be at Saturday AM, I'd ultimately like to have as many titles on Saturday AM that are unique and different, but really good. And so I don't have an answer for that yet. We've talked about it. I have a rough idea, but I don't think it's appropriate to say at this point. Next question is Casman Gamble. Is it okay for me to send in all 27 pages or just the first 5 pages? I'll say again that you will be judged on everything. So if you want to send, for example, in more character designs, send them in. If the character designs look ridiculous from after the third character design, then that's going to make me question how good you are at telling a total story, right? Because you might have 3 really good character designs. For all I know, you copied those from from Final Fantasy or something like that. Because then when I look at all the other character designs you have, they look horrible. So there's a I come from corporate America, and there's a really great line in corporate America called set the expectations. Now I've set the expectations for you of what I expect to see. You can knock out what I'm expected to see by doing what I've asked you to do and doing it to the best of your ability, or you can shoot for the moon and go above that. What you shoot for the moon for and give me more than that is now changing the expectations. If the expectations are not met because you've given me more than what I intended to see, then that's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. So you can submit as much as you want to submit, but make sure that what you're submitting is absolutely the best stuff possible. C.K. Lionheart asks, I'm a girl. Okay, great. The one who asks all the questions and polls in the group. Oh, well, this is I can't think of your name. Philippa, I think. Yeah, you do ask great questions. Okay, so here's another question. Would you rather have a pilot with great art and an okay-ish story, or great story with okay-ish art? I am a greedy bastard, so I guess I'd like to have both. Is that okay? I don't know how to answer that. That's like asking somebody. That's like asking the average father or mother who has a household to maintain. Would you rather have less money and less bills, or would you rather have more money and more bills? And they're kind of like, can I have it both ways? Can I have more money and less bills? You know, there's no right answer to that. You know, the bottom line again is to try to strive to create the best content you can, and that's all that can be asked for. Let's see. Bot, I think is. Thanks for doing this live Q&A session. It's been very informative. Much appreciated, Frederick. Thank you. I appreciate it. I wish I could pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I clearly am a jackass because I cannot pronounce Toto Dilebot, I believe is the name of it, and that's a badass name, by the way. Let's see here. Peachy Pizza has a question. Let's see here. Her question, I think, is a her because she's got a female icon there. Do you believe in less is more, especially with manga? You're just curious because a few manga you have read portray amazing stories with minimal panels and tones. Again, like I answered with CK Lionheart, I believe in quality, period. If you've engaged me and you've told a story, and yes, not everyone's going to be perfect, so please don't think I'm expecting you to be perfect. I don't. You're all amateurs. If you were perfect, you would already be working professionally and getting paid for your comics. And then we'd be coming to you saying, hey, would you like to be part of Saturday Am? And you'd be laughing at us. so you're all amateurs. We expect you to do amateur things. And so I don't expect your stuff to be perfect, but I expect you to strive for your best. And that's all I can ask for. So I'm not worried about whether or not you have minimal panels or tones and all those things. What I'm concerned about is you doing the best you can to deliver a compelling experience. And that's something that some of you will learn over time. That's something that you all may have figured out right now. I don't know until we look at what you do. Kinshaw Mashad asked, do Afterworks creators also receive payment? And so, Kinshaw, again, we don't really discuss the financial element of here because, again, these are public Q&As. We're a business. We have competitors, and so we don't discuss those things. What I would say to you is that basically, I certainly would not tell you to do this for the money. Just like I would expect you to do it for the money for any of our competitors. Let's just be clear about how webcomics work, by the way. All of our competitors are set up to where, and by the way, they've changed their systems in the last couple of months. I don't know if it was because of the way that we do things or what, but I've noticed they've changed their system. So all the previous of our competitors previously, what they did was they said, hey, upload your comic. We don't care what it looks like. We don't care what it acts like. Just upload your comic. You upload your comic, and then you hope that you can get to the levels that they offer. That then means that you get recognized more, you get paid part of this $20,000 kitty that they have or whatever, and that's how it's structured. There are all sorts of issues with that mentality, right? First of all, if you were to think about getting payment through them, well, let's just play that out, right? You can send your work to them today. You then have to get a lot of fans. People have to check out your page to be considered to get moved up into the next rank, and then the next rank, and then the next rank. That might take 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. That will take as long as it takes. But once you then, and by the way, you're chosen. It's not like you automatically get that status. You are chosen, meaning that they look at the traffic, and even if the traffic is evident from day one, they still have to determine whether or not you will move up to the next level. And if you do move to the next level, then $20,000, you will then compete with however many other people are in the group for part of that $20,000. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I know business, and whether or not that's enough for you to pay your bills, I don't know. So bottom line is that the webcomic game is not, just like most creative endeavors, is not going to be something that's going to financially reward you. I mean, if you were that amazing, you'd be financially rewarded already. So I would just say be cautious of that mentality, because while we certainly do work on that behalf, that doesn't mean that we would work on that behalf for you. It doesn't mean that we would value your work at being at some level that you would value it at. And so, therefore, nor does it mean anyone else would do that. So, therefore, for that to be part of your mentality, I can tell you you're not going to see the sort of results that you may think you want to see. Because, frankly, again, if you were worth lots of payment, or the payment that can pay your bills, you'd already be making it. And that's just the way it is. I mean, that's the reality. Moving on here, we have Casman Gamble. Would you ever consider having a support program for WebEx just for people who want to send money because they like the manga? Casman, yes, we actually have some big plans for Afternoon WebEx. We have some big plans for WebEx, and again, that was the point I was making, is that I've noticed that our competitors have changed their business model, where it used to be just upload your content and then maybe, hopefully, somewhere at the next, every amount of time, we will choose you worthy to be put into the top bracket, and then that top bracket will be access to a pool of money. Hey, that's awesome, but that's not something you necessarily can bet on. Now they've opened it up. A lot of these guys have changed into, hey, we're going to give you guys paywalls and stuff like that, and that's great. We think that's the way it should be. So we're glad to see that they've done that. I mean, we did that obviously with Saturday AM from the very beginning. You had to pay to get our new content, but we're glad to see some of these guys coming around. WebEx, we have some plans for, so we will be getting to that. But good question. Just a handful more questions. Damn, a few more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. Casman Gamble asks, would it bother you if all the pages are kind of good, but one looks like it's lacking quality? For example, I had recreated most of my pages except for 2 of them. Again, Casman, these hypotheticals don't really have an answer, because again, it's about how good it looks and how good we feel about the material. Period. Right? That's really for us to determine whether or not something is lacking quality. You may think it's lacking quality. We may think it's really engaging. Or vice versa. You may think it's awesome. Or we may think it's lacking quality. Like I said, we don't expect any of you guys to be superstar artists or superstar creators or have the best concept right out the gate. We don't expect that. Maybe that's silly of us. Maybe you do have the best thing possible. It'll be a pleasant surprise, but I don't expect that. You're all amateurs. So all I'm asking you to do is do the best job you can. Leave fate to fate. Don't second guess things, because it's not going to help you. Just produce the best you can. Let's see, Chris Thames. I'm just going to kind of rocket through these, because I'm going to have to start closing it up now. If and when you get translators for the series, will it be popularity based? Who gets their comic translated first? No, but we are looking at translations. Does grammar have a significant impact on a pilot? And the answer is no. Justin, no, it does not have a significant impact on the pilot. No. I mean, again, you're amateurs. We're a small company, so we don't have a lock on that the way that I would like. It's something that, I kick myself about all the time. I'll see some of our creators, including some of our Saturday AM guys, who produce something. We do have a Q&A check on some stuff, but some stuff slips through because we're a small group, and stuff just slips through. We don't have a lot of manpower. And so, so I kick myself about it, but we're a small business. Things happen, and that's the way it is. So, so I'm not gonna. Grammar is not something I'm gonna be worried about. No. What are the requirements for a writer to get into the novel print? That's Trey Mack's question. That's our last question, by the way. And the requirements for a writer to get into our novel or our ebook line called Well Read. The requirements are really simple. Basically, write something and then send that to us. If you send it to us, and the place to send it to, by the way, is email address info@saturday.am, info@saturday-am.com. Sorry. If you email us that and indicate that you have a novel that you've written that you'd like us to consider, make it out to the editor, then we will ferret that to the right person. And then do not attach the document, by the way. Like I said, we don't do emails. But if you send that material there, we will certainly take a look at it. We'll certainly get in touch with you and then suggest any one of the cloud-based services that you can utilize for us to then consider it. So that's really the only requirement for the novel thing, is to just be ambitious enough to contact us. Let us know that you've got something you want to look at, and then we will give you the process to send it in. Have a novel written, by the way. That'd be the other thing. Do not pitch us a concept or a pitch. You actually need to have a novel done, and then we'll take a look at it and get back in touch with you. But that's that, and frankly, that's the way to do it for the ebook line, Well Read. That's the way to do it for if you want to be a writer on our on Saturday-am.com for our blog. If you want to review movies or anime or manga or webcomics or what have you, that's the place to do that as well. So. Everyone, that is the last question. Again, this is Frederick Jones, publisher of Saturday AM, Afternoon WebEx, and our ebook line, Well Read. I want to thank you guys so very much for every time we do a Q&A in the last couple of weeks. You guys have turned out in big numbers. You asked fantastic questions, and I really do believe that we have the absolute most kick-ass fans of any comic brand out there. I was looking at some of the comments today for things like Age of Ultron and the new Batman cowl and so forth, but you guys are real fans. You guys want to be creators. Some of you, you guys really know what we're dealing with. You guys respect the stuff that we're trying to do, and it does not go unnoticed. It really means a lot to us because this stuff is hard, what the stuff we're trying to do, and the fact that those of you from around the world, whether it's from South Africa or Venezuela, Brazil, Macedonia, England, China, Korea, so on and so forth, you guys are amazing. I want to thank you so much for your support for us. We have big things coming that will be worthy of your support and worthy of the confidence you guys have given to us. So on behalf of every creator for Saturday AM Afternoon WebEx, I want to say thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being fans, and please join us this Q&A this weekend because the stuff we have planned for Saturday Wars is going to kick your ass. It's going to be amazing, and you guys are going to love it. So thank you so much for supporting us. Do show up for the Q&A as well for Saigami. Andrea is an absolutely beautiful lady. She's got a great personality, and she's such a sweet lady. So please come and support her. Ask her questions about her storytelling ability. And again, don't forget to support our creators. Check out prints that we have on our store, both on our website as well as gumroad.com/SaturdayAM/ it's all one word. Check us out there and check out some of our prints at a low price from White Manga, Mikkel Dingle, and we're going to be adding some prints from Wally Wynn here soon. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great week, and check us out this weekend. Saturday AM issue number 13 hits Saturday morning. Thanks, and goodbye.